share with you guys my scariest van life experiences. If anything, I've got a few. Parked by this really beautiful creek. My family from Alaska is currently visiting me. My mom is starting van life, as I mentioned in the previous video, is with me in her van. But we're parked by this really beautiful creek on Forest Service land, so we don't have to pay anything to park here. You can stay on Forest Service land up to 14 days. This is day 2 of us being here. We're a little bit off the beaten path, so I don't have much service, which means it's the perfect time to film a YouTube video and put some energy into this channel. Now let me tell you about my scariest van life experiences. Okay, first very scary van life experience. Probably my fault. I was finally out of the house and moving toward the lower 48, literally set in the middle of nowhere in the Yukon in Canada. My bus I was still quite unfamiliar with as far as gas mileage goes, but I stopped in this little tiny town. It's probably a town of like 8 people. You know what, I might as well get gas because I don't know when another gas station will be, and it's this tiny log cabin and nothing else probably. And then the first red flag I should have noticed is that all of the gas pumps were literally from like 1950. Like they could have been in a American Pickers episode. But never mind, I was like, oh well, as long as they pump gas, right? And so I knock on the front door of like the log cabin, the door swings open all mysterious like, and then I go inside and there's no one there. And so I'm like, hello? No one's coming out. Just as I'm about to turn to leave and call it a lost cause, some guy comes out of the corner and he's like, oh, I can help you, are you trying to get some gas? This man is dressed in what looks like a diesel automotive like jumpsuit, and he has his name stitched in. That's the only reason I remember his name. His name was Jim. We go outside and he fills up my gas for me, and the whole time he's asking me really creepy questions. So where are you from? No, what's the exact town you're from? How old am I? When's my exact birthday? And just like all of these kind of questions that you don't really ask when someone's just trying to get gas. I was at that point a little bit creeped out, a little bit vulnerable already, because he was kind of looking at me in like a creepy man way of like wanting something weird. He was like in his 60s, freshly 18 at this point. I'm still feeling very hopeful about life on the road, and I was kind of feeling really yucky at this point. He finishes filling up my tank, very long time because it's a very old pump. We go back inside this tiny log cabin. He's like, okay, sweet, so it's going to be this much. Comes out with his little reader, swipe my card, and it's declined. I try again, decline. I try again, decline. I try a different card, decline. And I'm like, what is going on? This is actually scary. It's not my fault. It's literally just labeling it as a fraud purchase. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go see if I have cash. I pulled out cash, I got Canadian dollars, I should be fine. Turns out I don't have enough Canadian dollars. And so I'm like, I have enough American dollars, I'm just gonna calculate what the difference is. I'm like walking inside there, he's like, no, will not take American dollars. I was like, please, this is all I have. And then he starts making comments. He said this like 15 times. He's going to take my bus. He knows what my bus looks like. Oh, I'll take your bus as payment. Oh my god, your bus would make a great home. How much I would love to live in it. Like frantically inside this log cabin of a convenience store. I look outside to my bus that is still standing at the pump. There's all of a sudden like 12 people standing on my bus deck staring into my bus. They're standing on my bus deck. They're trying to open my doors. They're banging on my windows. They're trying to pick at my mosquito nets on my windows, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, what? Oh my god, what is going on? And I start feeling very, very anxious. He finally goes, okay, fine, well I guess I'll have to take it. And I was like, yes, please do, because I need to go. And so I like smacked it on the table, left, and I was like, hey, can you guys get off my back deck? They're like, is this your car? And they keep giving me the same creepy man looks, frustrating and just not wanting to get off my bus. And I burst into tears at this point. I'm like actually so scared. He knows what my bus looks like. He's going to like track me down, and I keep thinking about like the worst possible experience. Catastrophize. And so I finally leave. I'm feeling very, very scared, and I go off on my way. I remember clearly as I was leaving this gas station, I felt so anxious, and I look to my right, and there is the most vibrant rainbow I have ever seen in my life. It was just like this, you know what, everything's gonna be okay, there's weird people out there, but most people are awesome humans. Very nervous, but left, and I was just like, you know what, I got a rainbow, it'll be okay. My second pretty freaky experience was when I was actually fostering Yogi. You saw my video about fostering a dog in my school bus. Yogi is that dog. He is so important to me and I will love him forever. He and I had a pretty scary experience. He is a very chill dog. He was so calm. I never once heard him like bark aggressively or growl or just be aggressive in any manner. That was true throughout the entire time that I'd had him, except for one experience. I found this really sweet spot to camp for a little while my partner Kian was doing some work. Essentially was down this dirt road with Yogi in the bus with me, past a hitchhiker. I don't pick up hitchhikers. If you're a woman, I typically stop, but just for safety reasons, I really try not to pick up male hitchhikers because I have heard the horror stories that can happen. Frankly, I'm alone, this is my house, and I just don't feel comfortable picking up male hitchhikers. So, just to put that out there. I pass this hitchhiker. As I go about my way, I'm trying to find essentially where Kian said that I could park. I can't really find it, and so I stop in this little pull-off. It's like on the road system, and I see this man running down the hill, down the road, to the bus. Yogi is right next to me. He's kind of like halfway up on my lap. He comes up to my bus windows, like my doors, just starts yelling at me and is like, what a terrible human being you are. We pick up people on this road. You're clearly not a local, you goddamn Alaskan and he just goes off on me. Like, oh, I don't pick up hitchhikers. I'm sorry. It's a safety issue for me. Solo female. He's like, solo female, whatever. He's so pissed. And then Yogi, at this point, is the only time I ever heard him be louder or more aggressive, was he started growling at the door. He like stood his ground real hard and started like pouncing his front paws. It was very, very cute, but he was obviously trying to like tell him to go away. That was really terrifying. It was really terrifying. It left me shaken. I finally got to where I was parked and we had a beautiful time, which is the rest of that video. That's what was not shown, was that moment. It was very sketchy. I would love to know if there's a trick for doing this and putting a cover on your comforter duvet, because I sure as hell don't have one. I kind of just like layer it and then I find the edges and just kind of like push the comforter to the corner. I don't know. Moms out there, I need your tips because keeping my life interesting. I've had some other like weather related pretty scary experiences. When I thought about making this video, I was not wanting to like scare people out of doing van life, especially women, because I am solo on the road. Don't want to scare anyone out of their dreams of doing van life. I want people to join the road and join like road life and nomad life. Like, it's so much fun. You get to meet like the best people in the world, which is truly what I love to do. I like love to meet new people and I love to like experience different states and cultures and like have good experiences, because the majority of van life is good experiences. I feel like it can be sometimes a little bit annoying to see people make videos like this and be like, oh my god, van life sucks. Because van life doesn't suck. It really doesn't. It's just, it can be scary sometimes. I've had my fair share of experiences. I'm sure that everyone who's been on the road can tell you that they've had their fair share of experiences. I think that a good bit of my van life experiences have actually been pretty normal things that everyone goes through. Those are just my scariest people ones. I've had people make some pretty weird comments at gas stations. I am a girl. I feel like a lot of solo women are gonna get this one, is that they think that like their boyfriend built their van. I get that one a lot. There's that side of it, which is always a comment that comes from men. The women's side of it is like, good on you girl, do it while you're young, like what a great way to spend your teen years. Oh, what I would have done if I was your age. So it's very 50-50. Doing it so young feels like one-upped life a little bit sometimes, even though it can be really difficult at times, which is what I'm going to talk about in this next story. I was there with my friend Maddie, who also lives in a van and also is from Alaska. She is just the coolest human being. So much fun to hang out with, and one of my very, very good friends that I love so dearly. So, Maddie, if you're watching, love you so much. We were in Yosemite National Park and we had an amazing time, but then I kind of got Yosemite's like loving tap out the door if you will. I ended up getting into a little bit of an accident. Happened when I was leaving Yosemite. Driven through Yosemite, there's a certain section where if you're a wider vehicle, you have to be a little bit more careful. I am in a pretty wide vehicle. There's a rock wall there that is pretty sketchy. It was late at night, couldn't really see a whole lot because my headlights are pretty cruddy, and it was overall a situation that I should not have been driving in, but I kind of had no choice. We weren't camping in the national park at all. Maddie and I, we were camping a little bit outside of the national park. It was about a 35-40 minute drive, and it was getting dark. We left a little bit too late. My headlights suck. I look ahead of me and there is a guy swerving into my lane and he's on his phone. I go closer to the wall. I knock out one of my mirrors, and that was luckily all the damage. Left me petrified. It was overall just like a really dramatic situation. Could have been so much worse, which I'm so grateful for. This is the aftermath. So yeah, overall not a super fun way to end my Yosemite experience. In the weeks to follow, I started dealing with some very bad mechanical issues with the bus. Failure with starting my engine, so it would just not want to start. It would act like it's a dead battery. I was like, is my home battery draining the system? It's not. And it was just overall a very difficult process to try and kind of figure out. And then it got 10 times worse. So as I'm driving from Yosemite up north to Truckee, my bus was starting to die in intersections. So whenever I would stop and I would idle, the second after I would hit the gas to go, it would just die and it would go into neutral, which was really, really shitty, especially in this one section because there was a stoplight and it was on a hill, and so you're parked at a hill and then here's the stoplight. And I was at a red light. I was like, oh shit, I hope that the car doesn't die. I hit the gas, it dies, and then I'm rolling into oncoming traffic. That was pretty terrifying. I ended up pulling into a gas station, trying to like self-figure it out. I call my dad and my other mechanically knowledgeable friends. We couldn't figure out exactly what was going on. We had an inclination that it had to do with the cylinders or with my spark. I ended up in a tiny town. They fixed me right up and let me park and stay in my bus while I was getting work done, which was really kind. They made an exception for me, let me sleep in my bus, and made me feel really at home, really grateful. So it ended up being a cylinder issue. My bus was running like a V6 when it is actually a V8. My spark plugs looked like this. They looked like they were deep fried. These are the pictures that I got from that whole experience. Pretty memorable if you tell me. Ultimately, it got me back on the road. That was a pretty scary experience as well, but ultimately could have been a whole lot worse. So there you have it. Those are all the ones that I can think of right now. Tell me yours in the comments below. Tell me your best van life experience. Favorite van life experience was in Yosemite and going and swimming in the river with my friend Maddie. We got this amazing Polaroid, which I am obsessed with. It is my crowning achievement as a photographer. I'm about to make another really beautiful van life experience because I'm going to be heading up the PNW real soon. I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm so excited! And going on this road trip with my partner Hiya. So I'm very excited. Stay tuned for those videos. I'm going to be making 4, so there will be some content coming your way. But have the best day. I love you so much, and I'll see you down the road.